Hey, so, um, nobody prosecutes war crimes, and there's no um, actual repercussions for synthetic telepathy Satanism. Uh, some of these folks, perping me from their own Howard Circle, are told like there's no life after death, which I think is pretty stupid. I mean, they play stupid and aren't, and really smart, and like human trafficking ways, and deviance, and neurolinguistic programming, and all that shit. But they were told on their end, while they could separate their consciousness from their body with the headgear, that there was no life after death. They fake stupidity for tactical art of war types of advantages, and it's neurolinguistic programming language. But they're having my thoughts as I'm having them, so they have my intelligence plus all of their deviant minds, and 5,000 in electric cord that have attacked me over 15 years and whatnot. So some of the stuff that was the tricks played on me, this the broadcast and those messing with my senses can make it seem like somebody's lips are moving across the MAC station, and then I end up doing lip reading that's relative to the dialogue of stuff that's going on in my head. I'm learning more not to react. Had some earplugs in a little bit when checked out Portland Community College down the way. Stuff like that. But every 15 to 20 seconds I'm hearing from one of the 5,000 of the electric core that's been attacking me as a TI. And they're really trying to introduce the false positive notion of narcissism, or that they're actually narcissists that are on their headgear, that are attacking me, of members of their gangs, which is really quite possible. Virtue signaling, like stealing who I am at speed of thought, having a narcissist with headgear and 50 of his buddies spout off around Hillsborough things that I'm saying to ingratiate themselves to the community as I'm being suicided as the TI. So there's TI, me, and then the target audience. So yeah, lip reading that's not really happening, so I try to avoid maybe getting in, I get tricked that way too. Mean mugs that may not have been mean mugs, on manipulations of people's faces that aren't really speaking. So that's some of the tricks being played on me. I checked out, like when I sit in front of a computer, Project Mockingbird is there to talk to me. So with my B system presence and being brain computer interface, if there's something that they don't want me to see, or website, they know when I walk up to a computer, they could make sure I couldn't see it. And some of those same tactics are played at speed of thought against TI by monitors. But like my YouTube channel that doesn't give accurate hit counts, as Dr. Horton explains, it's like hard to even see some of my playlists and channels on other computers. The perps that have 9 days in a week, just because they don't sleep, to stay up all night and make sure like I'm kept out of search engines and all kinds of pretty elaborate stunts. So that's some of the stuff on my mind recently. I got locked out of Facebook for a while, but we'll probably get back in there. I'm up for travel this month. I'll be leaving this residence on the 18th. And like if I go out and about, like I can be remote torture made nauseous, or remote torture internal organ damage and things like that. So I'm really disabled. I started a process of talking to the aging and disability folks, maybe for some assistance, and I'm up for like a rental subsidy here in Oregon. And a lot of the advice that I've seen from other TIs, like if you get TI'd, stay where you grew up. I bounced around the country for a while. That's not really, it doesn't help anything. So Yeah, 15 years a targeted individual. I don't have enough capital right now to buy the headgear myself and pull myself out of this cult. But after they had done it, some of the information fed into me for the NLP is that I'm a victim of EMF perpetrator virtue signaling, and there may be some narcissists in their gangs that have the headgear, and like Christian conceptions of what is or is not a devil, and narcissist behavior over the thousands of years that they've existed, and then their incessant need to try and save face or not be caught for the malformed human manifestation that there are. Like, I haven't done all the research into figuring out their frame of mind. I've seen some on YouTube of people that are like therapists, people that had like a mom or a dad that was a narcissist, and it's difficult. I only have so many thoughts or moments in the day to spend. It's difficult for me to spend time trying to figure out one of these 5,000 of like 5 million that are doing this to people to understand the mindset of a narcissist. But it's all being created with this headgear and shit like that. But Christian conceptions of what is not a devil outside of reptilian humanoids, like a narcissist as a human manifestation in history and repeating patterns and their interaction with the rest of humanity, what may have thought have been like religious or not actually real. A narcissist with the brain-computer interface headset from openbci.com that can't be killed where they're at, and is enabled by this technology. And then like, how do you design hell around a person? If you're writing psychological operations manual, you talk to a narcissist. Like, I haven't done all the research into understanding them. There's some YouTube videos out there, like people that grew up with them, like surviving narcissists or whatnot. But in practical human forms, what really was the devil in thousands of years prior? Probably narcissists. And similarly, there's like a phenomena in mammals where babies are born and they're like extremely muscular, like, and they're like 10 months old and they're like ripped. It's happened. I've seen it in pictures of baby humans, and then there's like cows that are born the same way. That's the genetic manifestation of what the tail of Hercules was. He was that kind of human mammal, born with that, like, grrr, and it's a genetic not malformity, but manifestation or mutation. And so my Hercules head here, the top 1% in the world for reading comprehension and cognitive thinking, is a child genius. I was disabled in college, and it's never stopped by these criminal gangs, by these synthetic telepathy cults. I was never allowed to think to my full potential or as big as I wanted to. I remember hearing a story when I was a kid, a science fiction novel about a society where people were capped for being too virtuous or too good. And some of the examples was like somebody that was too beautiful but wanted to work in news, like local broadcasting. They had to wear like a steel box on their head. So I remember hearing that when I was a child. That may have been in talented and gifted education or not. And then at 25, I was capped out by the intelligence communities and synthetic telepathy cults of not ever being able to think as big as I possibly could again. So what was a science fiction novel as a child turned out to be a lot of my reality, unfortunately. So narcissism enabled by this headgear that Kevin Christian describes, but beware the false positive. Like, these are psychological operations. It's Command Central, it's Electric Core, it's COINTELPRO. But yeah, there may be some narcissists with the headgear. And then virtue signaling, like stealing from me at speed of thought, having 50 mimics walking around saying what I have been saying for 15 years and then specifically using it against me. That's Satanism. and maybe some other stuff that I can research. But yeah, my YouTubes aren't showing up in search engines maybe as well as they could, because these perps have 9 days in a week. They don't sleep. They pass out on that headgear, and like when I'm getting rest in the middle of the night, they're working feverishly from the EMF on virtual drives, tunneling, using the full force of the military and all these outfits at this speed of thought information warfare to make sure you don't know how to get out of incarnation, and then continue the long-term Zugstrig stratagem on me, Hercules head of about 4 or 5 things. So what, before the headgears, like what was, that's 40. That's 40, and I don't work out. What concepts applied had been like the devil in Christian history or thought, narcissist, and then enabled with the headgear, like can't be killed in front of you, like that's pretty bad. So of the 5,000 that have attacked myself, my family, neurolinguistic programming, onceandforall.com, there's at least a few narcissists in there too, unfortunately.